Welcome back to the Doctor Who Marathon. I'm your host McEdam, and today we're going to be talking about The Witch from the Well, written by Rick Bridge. Now, this is the second story in the Mary Shelley trilogy. 3 stories that showed the 8th Doctor travelling with Mary Shelley, although there was a story prior to this which shows her introduction to the Doctor Who mythos in the Company of Friends anthology series. But we technically consider the main 3 stories that she's in with, which are like full-length stories, to be the Mary Shelley trilogy. So this is the second instalment of that. With obviously being Mary Shelley, the writer of Frankenstein, her era of the show, of the audio dramas I should say, take the form of a much more gothic storyline than what we're usually used to. Something vaguely familiar to people who are fans of the second season of Tom Baker's run. The very dark, moody, atmospheric. So I'm glad to report that this also follows in that tradition after the Silver Turk had also a gothic feel, and so did Mary's story. I don't know much about the consensus of this story. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. Mainly people are interested in the first story that she appeared in, the first full story she appeared in, Silver Turk. But it seems like the 2 stories after this and the Army of Death, not a lot of people have listened to. I don't know if they just didn't gravitate between Julie Cox's portrayal of Mary Shelley, or whether because they didn't have any recurring monsters like the Cybermen, and really if you just listen to Silver Turk you could be satisfied with the gothic aesthetic that this era produces, then you wouldn't really want to be into the next series. So I don't know how well these did. All I know is that really I haven't heard a lot of people talk about the other 2 stories, despite Mary Shelley being a fan favourite companion. Now, this story is the past segment, really. The 3 trilogies, the first one, Silver Turk, was round about the same time Mary Shelley. It had the same aesthetic. But here is like the past story, the story set in the past. And then the next story then would be in the future, I presume, anyway. So, onto the covers. So this is the official Big Finish CD cover, which looks really nice. It's probably my favourite of the covers. I like the hand and the Doctor and Shelley there, and that figure in the middle, the witch from the well. It reminds me a lot of horror films, with that clawing hand. It's really cool. And like always, I printed out my own DVD cover. This I actually took off somebody's DeviantArt profile, but I just changed the logo so it's got the same one as my TV movie imagery. So that's the cover, and it looks pretty good. Disappointed that the hand couldn't bleed over. I could have made my own cover where the hand does bleed out, but that's actually a really good idea. I might actually do that now, thinking about it. Here's the spine, if anyone is interested. Oh, these look absolute. I love these spines, it's really cool. And here's the back, which kind of is a giveaway that it wasn't mine, I created. Isn't that cool? I think that's pretty cool. But there you go. So, onto the story. So the story actually starts off in the year 2000s. I can't remember what year it is. I believe they said it was 2003. I can't remember. But yeah, it's really strange. And basically there's some sort of archaeological dig around this house where there's these 2 twin characters that are stomping around, and there's also the expedition. Now, when they tanker with this event, this little area, a creature comes out, which they dub the Witch from the Well, which is an ancient folklore around this area. It goes around, starts attacking people. Can't remember if it kills anyone, but it does go around scaring the bejeebers out of everybody. And the twins are nearly about to be threatened and died until suddenly Mary turns up and she escorts the twins into the TARDIS to where she introduces them to the Doctor. Now, they don't seem too surprised that the TARDIS is bigger on the inside. In fact, they seem to know the Doctor. When the Doctor asks who they are, they reply with, "What, you don't know who we are, Doctor? You don't remember?" Even the Doctor's like, they landed here thanks to the fast return switch. However, he's never been here before. Isn't that strange? And Mary starts mentioning that there is a creature out there. There's a great line in which she kind of sympathises with the monster, and the Doctor actually tells the twins, it's like, please excuse my friend, she's always taken the monster's side. Really great dynamic here. I stated in the last story that one of the things I was kind of disappointed with is that Mary, despite being a great companion in that story, she didn't really stand out when it came to her interactions with the sidecast. Here, with these twin characters and her little side plot in the adventure, she actually gets a lot of great moments to shine here in terms of her interacting with the supporting cast. So the Doctor and Mary basically learn about the story of the Witch from the Well, this thing that haunts anybody who goes near this well. And so the Doctor plans to go back in time, back to the medieval ages where people used to sacrifice women for believing that they were witches and stuff, and believing that they were working with the devil to try and discover what's going on. The Doctor originally believes that the witch is actually an alien who has crash landed on Earth, and he actually wants to go back in time and rescue her before she can do any harm to anybody. Basically, he thinks that this creature is just scared out of its wits, and the Doctor's going to be there to help her. He doesn't think that she is all necessarily bad, that her being in the well is what made her crazy to the sense of murder and insanity. So in a way, they both kind of agree with the monster in a sense, which does come and play into the story a bit. So the Doctor and Mary and these twin characters, they go actually investigating during the medieval times, so they meet a bunch of characters. Kincard? No, it's not. It's Kindred. Kindred is this, what they call a witch picker, who is this somebody who comes to the valleys to try and to stone any witches, try and track down any witches. He can burn them as quickly as possible, and anybody who threatens with the creature. There's also stated that that these creatures are there's creatures that are haunting the place. There's evil at work, and there are horrible things that are happening, like murders in respect. In fact, there seems to be some sort of priest character who seems to be hell-bent on killing the witches, but he's not like too sure. And there's a great scene in which the Doctor goes to the church to interact with him, because he told Mary and the twins to go to the church while he goes and talks to the villagers. But when he goes to the church, he finds that they're not there, and instead finds this priest who, as I state, is part of the witch burning, but he seems to be not sure with himself. And the Doctor's like, you're not too sure about these witches, aren't you? You don't think that they're real. And he's like, I didn't at first, but something came about that proved that the witches are real. And he takes the Doctor to this barn in which they discover 3 corpses to the point of unrecognisable. They can't be recognised because they're so distorted. So there's this really great atmospheric fear and tension into it. Mary and the twins actually get back into the TARDIS because basically this little village has gone under, I believe it's like a court-martial, like they're not letting anyone out or letting anyone in. So Mary and the twins decide to go into the TARDIS and wait for the Doctor. However, when Mary leaves the twins to go looking around in the TARDIS, I believe some books to try and figure out what's going on, the twins actually muck around with the TARDIS and actually activate the fast return switch to get them back into the year 2000s. And it turns out that basically they are the villains. That's the cliffhanger for part 1. The twist really works. I mean, there's clearly something off about them. But to reveal that they are like the main villains was a pretty decent twist, and it really does actually flip the story on your head. And because it's the first cliffhanger, the fact that it was kind of obvious isn't that of a criticism of the story. It's more of a, this is Act 1, this is the build-up to the adventure, as the Doctor and Mary didn't know that they were villains at the time. So Mary tries to look for them as they travel around in modern-day Earth. Also, I forgot to mention as well, back in ancient times, or in the TARDIS, they find this device that they've been looking for called the Witch Star, which seems to be trapping psychic celestial energies or something like that. Whilst they're there, Mary talks to the guy who owns the house, to which the twins told the Doctor and Shelley that they are his children. But when he proclaims, wait a minute, I don't have any children, does the questions really start to ponder, and it starts to work out, right, the twins are aliens. There's some sort of alien entity. Now, Mary and the Doctor story actually split through the majority of the story. In fact, they don't actually meet up until the very end of the story, which is really surprising. So, and their stories are a bit separated, but the themes and the dynamic of these adventures do play very well and does actually work as them being two separate stories in the same adventure. So let's talk about Mary's story first. Mary is trying to not only get back to the Doctor, but also trying to figure out as much information she can about the witch from the well and these twins and anything she can learn about this small little village. And so this guy takes her to his library, where it turns out he's a huge fan of Lord Byron. Or, not Lord Byron, sorry, Percy Shelley, Mary Shelley's husband, or would-be husband. And he basically explains it's like he's not too keen on the other three of the friends, but he's a huge fan of Percy Shelley. He loves his poetry, he loves his political work, he just loves everything about him. And so Mary gets the tinkling sensation that she could look a bit into her future. In fact, I don't believe she reads Percy's biography, and it's here that she finds out that Percy actually left his wife and child. Fun fact, the child is actually Ada Lovehart, who also appears in other Doctor Who stories, including the 13th Doctor story, Spyfall. So that's an interesting little connection between all these stories. Very strange. So Mary is obviously shocked and horrified by this, because she didn't know. She didn't know that Percy left her husband like this. And so this little subplot is mainly just to focus on Shelley and basically boosting her up in terms of the character details, all of her stuff that she can learn through these time travel adventures, and her relationship with this guy is really interesting because he's a fan of Byron, and he is it's strange. you know a lot about him. You know all this stuff that only like true Lord Byron fans, sorry, I keep saying Lord Byron, Percy Shelley fans would know. But then there's other things which seem to be more common knowledge, but you don't seem to know anything about it. It's very strange. But he doesn't really get any answers for it. And he also is like, you look really familiar. Do I know you from somewhere? I can swear I've seen like a painting of you somewhere. So there's that little dynamic there. Whilst they're also getting chased by the witch in the well and trying to track down the twins. And there's a lot of great like action sound effects when the witch is like attacking and going mad. In fact, the woman who played the witch is so well performant that apparently, according to the Wikipedia, she actually has no voice modulator. That is a real voice. If that is true, which I hope it is, because that would be a really cool fact right there. I don't know if I believe it, but if it is, huge props to this actress. But anyway, so the Doctor's point of view, he's basically trying to track down what's going on. And he also learns that that they're all trying to chase down this woman who used to be a midwife. She actually helped a lot of the women there gave birth. But after some sort of event in which she accidentally heals someone with some sort of psychic powers, they all believe she's a witch and they're trying to track her down and kill her. And the Doctor basically teams up with her and she becomes a surrogate companion as Mary is somewhere else. And so the Doctor and this character, what's her name? Agnes. Her name is Agnes, and she seems to be possessing some powers. Earlier on in the story, when the Doctor's about to watch the execution, she shouts, "I can see you, Lord of Time. You're in the audience." And the Doctor's like, "Wait, what?" The Doctor actually tracked this creature to the medieval times because of something called, I think it's like Zelone energy, a secret ancient energy source which is indistinguishable from magic, even from our time. And so the Doctor's trying to track down this particular energy source which he's tracked it to this person. And the Doctor stated it's like some people have jumped like an evolution and can actually harness this mass amount of power. And Agnes is this creature. He believes that she's going to become the witch from the well. And so the Doctor tries to help her, tries to recover her, where it's revealed that the twins are actually here, but not just any version of the twins. These are the twins from the medieval times. They have no memory of the Doctor. They haven't time travelled at all. They've actually come to this planet, imitated the two children of Kincaid, and basically manipulating events to try and chase her down. Now the Doctor believes that they are after Agnes to try and take her power away. When they get captured, the twins actually scan their brains and the Doctor's like, you need to suppress your power so that they don't believe that you have it. And when they suppress it, she suppresses it, they're like, right, none of them have this particular power source, so let's just kill them. Let's burn them to the stake. And just before they burn, the Doctor realises, wait a minute, I made a horrible mistake. Agnes, use your power as much as possible. Advertise yourself. If you don't, we could die. I was wrong. They don't want you. They don't want to kill you for your power. They want to keep your power. They want you alive. So use your power so they can keep you alive. Which does actually kind of work, as the twins are like, crap, we've misjudged the situation. We need to go to the father that they're manipulating and tell him to basically say that these two are actually innocent individuals. So that's what happens, and they break out and stuff. But then they actually threaten the Doctor and Agnes, and the Doctor's like, he's originally like, so this is your plan. You decide to take these people with this mass amount of energy who can manipulate this particular energy source, where then you take them to your home planet and save them, yes? So it turns out it's all just a massive misunderstanding. This woman is too dangerous to be left around in the universe, so you're going to take her to your home planet, and she's going to be safe. Yes? No. They reveal that their planet was actually destroyed by this energy source, and they're going to take this woman to the planet where they can execute her and take the energy source to power their own devices so they can track down and kill more people with their energy. The reason why they save her is not to keep her alive, it's to kill her later so they can take her energy source, making them the true, proper villains of the adventure. And so the Doctor basically comes up with this plan, essentially, that that he's going to try and take this witch star which they've had and trap the entity there, trap Agnes's soul, I guess you're in there, put it into the well where she will become the witch from the well, which kind of horrifies them. And the Doctor actually makes it missing in a twin state. It's like, right, we can live for thousands of years. We can, if we wanted to, wait for thousands of years just to wait to get this this star device. So that's where the future versions come in. And the Doctor's like, when it happens, I'll be waiting. Don't you worry. So they go off trying to search for the witch star again. And back in the Mary story, I get it, Mary story, it turns out the witch from the well, who's revealed now to be Agnes, is actually dying, and she wants to be seen by Mary and this guy while she's dying, and he's like, please, to stay with me, I don't want to die alone. And Mary is distorted by this, she's shocked. Mary finally gets the TARDIS to use its fast return switch to go back to the normal time, back to the medieval time, with the Doctor. So they hug it out and stuff. Mary basically explains her side of the story, and she is disheartened. She's like, I'm so sad. Agnes was such a lovely person and she had to die. And the Doctor doesn't seem to be too bummed out by this. And Mary's like, how could you? That was a human life. That was a life. That was a person. And the Doctor's like, come with me. Let me show you something absolutely amazing. And he takes Mary to the barn where they found the bodies. And Mary's like, I don't understand, Doctor, what you... And the door opens. And Agnes walks out. Yes, you see, the Doctor had actually tricked the twins. He used the witch star to actually trap part of the energy source, just enough to make a physical representation, the witch from the well, and that aspect of her died, the small segment, which is not really alive, it's more of a mental projection of her, died, whilst Agnes, her real self, actually lived and survived and is still in medieval times, unharmed. And Mary is like, Doctor, you're absolutely amazing. I can't wait to travel with you in more adventures. And so that is The Witch from the Well. Overall, I really enjoyed this story. It's got that horror vibe I was really looking for, with a nice sci-fi twist that makes it very Doctor Who-ish. It might be a bit slow for some people. I wouldn't recommend this to people new to Big Finish, new to audio dramas. It's a bit of a slow burn, but the story and the characters really smother into the plot line very nicely and allows you to get to know these characters and get enthralled in the adventure. It's just the plot is a bit too slow, and I know a lot of people might be turned off by that, so I wouldn't really recommend it to everyone, but I surely enjoyed it. And I can't wait to finish off this trilogy. So there you go, that's The Witch from the Well. So join me next time where we will be finishing this trilogy as the Mary and the Doctor fights in the future against skeletons. So join me next time for The Army of Death. And I'll see you next time on the Doctor Who Marathon. Ta-da!